You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Tuesday, Election Day, 5th day of November, 2024. And I got to tell you, whichever way it goes, history will be made today. And it won't affect our country for just the next 4 years. I dare say it will affect our country for the next 40 years, if not 400 years, unless Jesus comes back first. So we'll all be gathered around our TVs, having our watch parties tonight as the results come in. CNN this morning, they were a little down in the mouth. They didn't seem quite as bullish as they've been in the past, so I'm not going to read anything into it. It's all in God's hands, right? Right. Okay. Well, this is our second live broadcast of the day. The first live broadcast each and every trading day is our live training room. Now, to get in there, you got to be a member or you have to be on the free trial. If you haven't taken the free trial, go to mytradingiq.com and just click that purple button up at the top where it says 5-day free trial, no credit card required. Don't worry about the fact that it's the middle of the week, almost. You'll still get 5 consecutive trading days, even if it stretches over a weekend. Just make sure you fill out that registration form properly. Otherwise, because it's an automated process, we won't get it, and then you don't get a free trial. And then we'll both have little frowny faces, right? So take a minute, fill it out right before you hit submit. Okay? Great. Now, when the live training room ends each day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we take a 30-minute break and then come back for this afternoon broadcast, which is open to the public. Everybody everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. There's 2 different ways you can join this afternoon broadcast live. The best way, you only have to do it once. Go to mytradingiq.com. Scroll down the page to where it says noon broadcast. Click that link, fill out that 30-second registration form. You're done. Not only is it going to log you into our platform that day, but every trading day going forward, you're going to get an email about an hour before the broadcast starts. In the email, there's a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it will automatically log you into our platform. Now, there's going to be days you're out of the office, away from the desktop, but you still want to join live. And there'll be days when you're busy, can't join live, but want to get caught up later. You can do both of those via our YouTube channel, which is easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. youtube.com/CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,600 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. And thanks to the power of YouTube, it's a great way to get to know who we really are. You can see how we've evolved over the years. You can scroll back 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more. Obviously, you're not going to watch them all, but jump around, check it out. See how we've evolved from where we were to where we are. Obviously, the more recent episodes are going to be more relevant to where the markets are now and to what's happening in the world itself. And a reminder, I am unable to monitor the YouTube chat box until Michael shows up about 50 minutes into the broadcast. But if you join the best way that I just gave you, then you can access the chat box at the very beginning of the broadcast. Otherwise, once Michael arrives at 12:50 to give us a recap of what happened this morning in the live training room, then I will be freed up to monitor the YouTube chat. Okay. This is our daily devotional, our daily schedule every day, where we start with our daily devotional, word of prayer, some news, recap of the Logic 247 alerts, the concierge trade alerts, and then about 50 minutes into the broadcast, Michael joins us, gives us a recap of exactly what happened this morning in the live training room. Then we do some live trading on the TradingView platform for 30 minutes. And then I wrap things up with our good word for the day. So with all that out of the way, I say we get into our daily devotional. Now, we ended our last topic yesterday. We're picking up with a new topic today. Our topic for the last 3 days has been storing up treasure in heaven. Today we start confidence in Christ, and this will be another 3-day series. Today's scripture is Ephesians 2 verses 7 through 10. And I'm going to share it with you from the Message translation. Now God has us where He wants us, with all the time in this world and the next, to shower grace and kindness upon us in Christ Jesus. Saving is all His idea and all His work. All we do is trust Him enough to let Him do it. It's God's gift from start to finish. We don't play the major role. If we did, we'd probably go around bragging that we'd done the whole thing. No, we neither make or save ourselves. God does both the making and the saving. He creates each of us by Christ Jesus to join Him in the work He does, the good work He has gotten ready for us to do, work we had better be doing. Ephesians 2, 7 through 10. So let's talk about embracing your identity in Christ. Not your neighbors, not your co-workers, yours. Let's dive into the incredible truth of how God sees us when we faithfully serve Him with all of our heart. You know, when we commit ourselves to God's ways, we're not just going through the motions, we're shining bright in His eyes. Isn't it amazing to know that God considers us His masterpiece? When we live according to His Word, there's a divine transformation happening within us. We're not just blending in with the crowd, we're standing out in His glory. Take a moment and reflect on times when you've felt like you stood out because of your faith. How did God's approval and presence make you feel stronger and more confident in Him? It's natural to sometimes feel different or even isolated because of our commitment to God. Yet it's in those moments of standing out that we often experience the depth of God's presence and affirmation the most. When we choose to live by His standards rather than to conform to worldly expectations, we're embodying the truth of the scripture we just read. We are His masterpiece, uniquely crafted to fulfill His purposes. Our confidence doesn't stem from pride or a sense of superiority, but from knowing who we are in Christ, a cherished creation of the Almighty. Pray with me. Heavenly Father, we thank You for the gift of grace, for creating us in Christ Jesus to do good works prepared by You. Help us to walk in Your purpose with humility and gratitude, knowing that all we have is by Your grace alone. May our lives reflect Your love, bringing hope to those around us. And I want to offer a special prayer today for one of our members of many years. He's been married 49 years. Very uncommon in this world today. My wife and I are at 41 or 42, I think. But our friend, our member, actually our members, we think of them as family. Due to a medical condition, after 49 years of marriage, he's now separated from his wife. Lord, we pray that Your hand of healing would be upon his wife, and that You would bring peace and shower grace upon his life as he gets through this troubling time. And as the nation votes today, God, we ask for honesty and integrity throughout the entire election process. Guide each voter with wisdom, and let every action be fair and just. Most of all, God, may the outcome of this election reflect Your will and bring peace, unity, and hope to our country, America, one nation under God. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, Amen. Amen, and happy election day. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. I'm going to start here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. The Dow's up 364 points, almost 1%. The Nasdaq's up 259 points, 1.5%. S&P 500 is up 63 points, almost 1.25%. And the Russell 2000, our man in the street, is up 23 points, just over 1%. Every one of the major indices is in fact a mover and a shaker today, by our standards. Crude oil's up $1.10, trading 72.57 last. That's a gain of 1.5%, or $1,080 per contract traded. Gold up $2.50, trading 27.4870 last. Silver up 14 cents, trading 32.75 last. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei posted a gain of 421 points, over 1%. The Shanghai rose 76, almost 2.5%. The Hang Seng gained 439 points, almost 2.25%. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE down 11. That's the only red on the screen. The DAX posted a gain of 108 points, and the CAC rose 35. So that gave us a green day in Asia. It was a mixed day for the UK. What's this popping up on my screen? Oh, that's Valerie. She's okay. Oh, she has a day off. Okay. All right, I'll get to that. And obviously it's a big green Radio Tuesday here in the US of A. So let me take a look at this. Okay. All right. Let's see what that message was. All right. News. Election day has finally arrived in the U.S. following former President Donald Trump's and Vice President Kamala Harris' last-minute campaign blitzes in key battleground states. Trump held rallies in North Carolina and Pennsylvania yesterday before ending in Michigan, while Harris spent the entire day in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, which has 19 electoral votes, is seen as the tipping point among 6 other swing states whose collective 93 electoral votes are considered crucial to the election outcome. Trump and President Joe Biden won Pennsylvania in 2016 and 2020, respectively. However, the final results might not be known until later. Now, I just watched a video that one of our members shared on the Breeze channel. One of the Maricopa County election officials said, "We're sorry, but we won't be able to get all the votes counted until tomorrow, or maybe the next day." They said, "So it may look like your candidate won tonight, but that could change over the coming days." And our member who posted that in our social media channel, Breeze, he said, "This is fraud." And, I agreed with him. I mean, American Idol can tally all those votes during a commercial break. Now, I know we have a lot of older retired people here in Arizona, but is that any reason why it should take us days to count the votes? Anyway, enough of that. On a sad note, legendary music producer Quincy Jones, an influential figure in music for over 7 decades, passed in Bella, California at age 91. Born in 1933 on Chicago's South Side, he collaborated with iconic artists like Frank Sinatra, Leslie Gore, and even Michael Jackson. He produced We Are the World, one of the best-selling singles of all time, and Michael Jackson's Thriller, one of the best-selling albums of all time. Through the 60s, Jones became the first black executive at a major record label and made his film score debut with 1964's The Pawnbroker. He went on to score nearly 40 movies and numerous TV shows. Let's jump to some market news. Well, it's kind of market news, kind of political. You be the judge. New economic policy promises typically aren't rolled out during the final weeks of a presidential campaign. But that's one more norm Donald Trump and his allies have been upending in recent days. What about Kamala coming out yesterday saying she's going to make marijuana legal? It's already legal in most places. The pledges have been coming fast and furious, including one last escalation of Trump's tariff promise on the final day of campaigning, with the former president pledging to impose new blanket tariffs on Mexico. You're the first ones I've told it to, Trump told a crowd in Raleigh, North Carolina, on the last full day of campaigning. It's a pledge that came alongside recent discussions from Trump and his allies of dramatically changing course on a signature Biden-era semiconductor bill that has catalyzed over $400 billion in semiconductor sector investments. There's even been renewed talk of repealing the Affordable Care Act. Whether all this helps Trump's chance is a toss-up, but we'll know. We'll have an idea tonight. I just hope this doesn't become another hanging Chad thing. Remember that election years ago? When Al Gore, the guy that invented the internet, there was a hanging Chad, right? Maybe some of you aren't old enough to remember that. The series of promises is likely to further worry economists who have long noted that Trump's various plans could spur inflation anew or upend key economic sectors if he takes even a fraction of the dramatic actions referenced on the campaign trail. Well, I'm going to just say this. This is me editorializing an article that came from the Washington Correspondent. When Trump ran in 2016, did he make good on his campaign promises? Yeah. Until Congress stepped in and wouldn't let him build the wall. Okay. So, the guy's a man of his word. He doesn't need this job. Now, the other candidate, she needs it. Because without it, she really doesn't have a life. So, I'll stop there. Boy, he's just all over the news. Trump Media and Technology Group stock DJE climbed more than 10% in early trading today. In fact, it's up almost 15% just hit 15% right now as we speak, extending its double-digit percentage rise to kick off the week as investors brace for more volatility with Election Day underway in the U.S. Go DJT. Google. A federal judge dismissed a proposed class action lawsuit accusing Google of illegally profiting from Google Play gift card scams by refusing to refund millions of dollars stolen from victims. In a late Monday decision, U.S. District Judge Beth Labson Freeman said the plaintiff, Judy May, lost money because scammers induced her to buy gift cards and failed to show that Google caused her losses or knew it was receiving stolen funds. The San Jose, California-based judge also said Google was not liable for keeping 15 to 30% commissions on purchases that scammers made with the gift cards, because Google's conduct was unrelated to the original fraud. May said she lost $1,000 in April 2021 when a scammer posing as a relative instructed her to contact a supposed government agent who told her she was eligible for federal grant money if she bought Google Play gift cards. May said she would not have bought the cards had Google warned on the packaging about scams and that anyone demanding payment with the cards was a scammer. Lawyers for May did not immediately respond on Tuesday to requests for comment. Google, a unit of Alphabet, did not immediately respond to similar requests. Guys, be careful. In 2023, Americans lost $217 million in gift card or reload card fraud. Google finally wins a case at the expense of some poor lady who got scammed. Why didn't they just make her whole? It was $1,000. Like that's going to upset Google's balance sheet? Poor woman gets scammed with their cards. Anyway. All right, last piece of news. Why stocks don't care who's president. I thought they did. Despite the chatter about the risks surrounding Americans' trip to the polls on Tuesday, election days aren't historically that bad for the stock market. The S&P 500 rose on 8 of the 10 election days the stock market has been open since 1980. If we include both the day of and the day after the election combined, the index has been a bit more fussy, falling half the time. So, we got a heck of a rally going on today now. We may have a sell-off tomorrow, but the markets are very bullish today. Okay. Here, I gotta fix this real quick. Give me a second, because I didn't know I was going to have another recap incoming. So just hold tight. I'm going to show you the goods. There we go. All right. Alrighty, we are in week 327 of Logic 247. Over the last 327 weeks, we've issued over 18,200 individual handcrafted alerts. And by the end of the week, we'll probably be over 18,300. Now, what we've averaged over the last 327 weeks and 18,200 plus alerts, we've averaged 20% or less being stopped out on a weekly basis based on market structure and a very simple process that we teach all of our passport holders in their one-on-one mentoring sessions. Now, Valerie just did this recap a few minutes ago. Since the markets opened Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we've issued 39 alerts. We're still waiting on the outcome of 14 because I put a bunch out just an hour ago. So, 25 actionable alerts at this point, of which 6, or 24%, would have been stopped out, again based on market structure and that very simple process that we teach all of our passport holders in their one-on-one mentoring sessions. Last week we ended up with 14% at the end of the week, so we'll see if we can't get this baby down below 20, staying within our 327 week average. Now, the logic alerts, they come with an entry price, an initial target, additional targets, and a final trade to target. Yes, you can trade them, but that's not the point of them. The point of them is to help you learn how to read a chart so that you know where to expect support, where to expect resistance, and how to find windows of opportunity. So if you want to trade them, okay, trade them, but I can't stop you. But make sure you don't just do that. Don't just trade them, okay? Actually do the work, draw the lines so that you understand and learn how to read a chart. If you ever want to become a consistently profitable trader, that's never going to happen until you can accurately read a chart and know with a great degree of certainty what the next high probability move is. Nobody knows what's going to happen next in the market. I don't care what their websites and emails try to convince you of. When God created Adam, he did not give Adam the ability to change the past or know the future. And even today, with all the fancy indicators, oscillators, algorithms, and even AI, still can't do it. Still can't predict the future with 100% accuracy. Our logic alerts, over 18,200 alerts, but we still got stopped out 20% or less of the time on a weekly basis over 327 weeks. Now, the logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. because futures trade around the clock and we have traders around the globe. So our day session is their night session and vice versa. But our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts, they don't come out around the clock. They're posted shortly after the Globex opened each evening. Last night I got them out right at the open, 6 p.m. Eastern. Now this information here, this is for members and trial members. Make sure you read this information, and if you have questions, be sure to ask me. As we go to the charts, I want you to understand that every one of our members and trial members had every one of these targets last night at the moment the market opened. Yes, the Dow, the Russell, crude oil, NQ, gold, silver, and even bonds. So with that, we're off to the charts. And we'll start where we always do, with the daily chart of the S&P 500, because that is a great barometer of the overall health of the markets. We came down to the 24% fib retracement. We spiked it down to this low here, put it on October 8th, okay, which is at the lowest fib extension. And then, okay, we tried to bounce on, I want you to picture this, okay. We ran up. I said if we close near the low of the day, that's going to be bearish. And we did. Yesterday, we had a nice big green candle. I said, but if we close towards the low of the day, that's going to be bearish. And it was. So what happens today, election day? Boom. We catch a rally right up to the 24% fib extension and the daily BBC. That green line, it's called the BBC. It stands for Bull Bear Cross. In other words, when price gets below the green line, we're bearish and expect lower prices. When price gets above the green line, we're bullish and expect higher prices. Another thing you'll notice is that when price retraces to the BBC, the pullback holds more often than not, whether you're pulling from below or pulling down from above. Now we know eventually it will trade through. When we traded through right here, look what happened. We pulled back and it held. Then we got a leg and a pull back and it held. Okay. Now, markets are fractal in nature. So the BBC, you can put it on a daily chart, a weekly chart, a monthly chart, a 30-minute chart, a 5-minute chart, a tick chart, a range chart. It doesn't care. It's going to give you the same important information relative to whatever time frame you're looking at. We're looking at a daily chart right now because institutional traders, the ones who have huge accounts and trade in tremendous size, they look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. It has everything to do with account size. They're the ones who actually move price. You and I, we're just liquidity. But that's okay. We can still make money. Whatever you trade, whether it's futures or stocks or crypto or Forex or ETFs, I encourage you, spend 2 minutes with the daily chart of whatever you're getting ready to trade. Number one, you can see what the deep pockets are doing. You can also identify where the major areas of resistance are and the major areas of support. Write those numbers down, and then after you've been on your 2-minute fact-finding mission, go to whatever time frame you use, get trading. Now, all alerts, both the logic and the concierge, are created on the 30-minute chart. Nothing magic about 30 minutes. It's just the time frame I chose many years ago, and I've stayed with it. If it ain't broke, leave it alone. That's what I was taught. The vertical line separates today, Tuesday, from Monday. Back over here is Friday. Now on Friday, I drew in this window of opportunity live on the show, and it fills Sunday night when the market's open. Remember, a window of opportunity is always valid until triggered. Now, when price runs up to a weekly zone, we expect resistance. When it drops to a zone, we expect support. The weekly trading zones are published every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern for our members and trial members, and once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They don't change in any way whatsoever. This December 14th will make 15 years since the first time we published the weekly trading zones. That's quite a while. Now, as I said, price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green. We call it the BBC. Okay? See how the pullback held? The pullback held, and the pullback held, and the pullback held, until it didn't. And so then it pulled back from the other side, and it held, and it held, and it held, and then boing. All right. This was the opening candle last night. Now remember, all members and trial members had these targets. When? The minute this candle opened. The second this candle opened. That's the beginning of the Tuesday session, even though it's still Monday night. Okay, so down comes price, and our target was 57.34, and we got down to 35. Okay, so we missed hitting it by a point. But let's say you jumped in on the open of this candle, 57.44 half. We'll call it 44. That's 9 points. You only need 2 points to get your goal for the day. Now when the market finds support, see the little double bottom, it's going to go look for resistance. Remember, the pullback holds more often than not. So we hit resistance, the market goes looking for support. When red and falling turns to blue and climbing, that becomes support. And it walked us right above the BBC, leg retracement, leg retracement, leg retracement, leg retracement. All those pullbacks held. And then 9:30 this morning, Wall Street opens, and we make a run. We didn't get all the way to the weekly zone until this was the 10 o'clock candle. The 10:30 candle actually spiked the zone, but got smacked back down. So we make another run, and we close just below the zone. Then we finally overcome the zone. Now this is Tuesday, Monday. Here's Friday. Here's the highs from Friday. We've broken the highs of Friday, which is a good thing, okay, for those who are along the market. Now, 70% of the time when price encounters a weekly zone, you're going to get consolidation. 20% of the time you'll get rejection. 10% of the time you'll get the slice. This is kind of a slice, but not really, because it's a part of this consolidation period. But the 10% of the time when price does slice through a zone on the 30-minute chart, like it's not even there, it will typically retrace back to the zone it sliced through, and then continue in the direction of the slice. So all of our members, all of our trial members, it was very simple for them last night to get their goal early on the short side, and this morning on the long side. Okay. To the Dow. This is the opening candle last night. We dropped to blue and climbing. Now this zone is 41,910/15. The low of this candle is 41,918. So we missed it by 3 ticks. This window of opportunity that I drew live on the broadcast yesterday, it filled. And then it filled again. Market likes to repeat itself. Then we just consolidated overnight along the BBC. And then this morning, 9:30, we reached down. What's the low? 41,917. So we missed we missed the zone by 2 ticks. Okay, and then ran right up to the target, and then we overcame the zone. Now we're at this resistance just below it from Friday. Okay, if we overcome that resistance, our next resistance is here, then here, then the zone. Now, in order to hit the short target last night, we would have had to gotten below the weekly trading zone, but we didn't. So we never had to worry about the short target. All eyes were on the long side, and looks like we're still climbing. I will say this, okay? You see how on the way up, you got price, step line, blue and climbing, BBC. Notice how the step line is starting to angle to the right. If the step line crosses from the left side to the right side of blue and climbing, that's an indication the market's run out of steam and price will most likely retrace back to the BBC or revert to the mean. Price always reverts to the mean. On the Russell, this was the opening candle last night. Dropped down a little bit. That was an odd place to find support, but 20% of the time the market doesn't do what you expect it to do, if you know how to read a chart. Okay, so we get a leg and a retracement, and 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 a leg and a retracement. Notice the theme there? Then we close below the BBC off the 8:30 news, and then we drop to the short target. We even spiked it a little bit when the next candle opened. Right where the step line crossed blue and climbing. I haven't taught you guys that yet, but I'm gonna. I just haven't figured out the best way to teach it yet. So we had a slice on this zone, that 9:30 opening candle. Now again, when the slice runs out of steam, price will typically retrace to the zone it sliced through and then continue in the direction of the slice. That hasn't happened yet, but if we finally run out of steam, then it will, most likely. Does it happen 100% of the time? Very few things in the world of trading happen 100% of the time. I mean, if it were that easy, everybody would do it. Trading is not easy, but it can be simple. So we hit our short target. We hit our long target. And we almost made it to the zone. How close did we get? 22.57.20. So we missed it by 8 ticks. I'm sorry, hold on for me 1 second. All right. So again, you notice we have what I call the perfect stack. Price, step line, blue and climbing, BBC. But notice the step line starting to angle to the right. Now we might run on up and bump our head on this zone, but if that step line crosses blue and climbing, it's a high probability price will retrace back to the BBC. NQ. This was the open last night, and everybody had the number. Okay, we dropped to the zone. and found support. So we didn't make it all the way to the target. But you only need 2 points to get your goal for the day. This candle opened at 81. This candle right here. Oh, I'm sorry, opened at 76 and had a low of 50. That ain't right. Oh, we're on the NQ. Yeah, that is right. You only need 5 points to get your goal for the day. So, yeah, there was a week's worth of goal on the way down. But we hit the zone and found support. Support's going to send the market looking for resistance, then support, then resistance at the zone. Support, then we get through the zone. Okay, here's the slice. See how this candle sliced through the zone? When it ran out of steam, it retraced to the zone it sliced through and touched the BBC. Then we had a little double top action going right here. And then one more pull back to the zone and the BBC. And then off we go, right up to the zone. We got a retracement to the step line. Still trying to get to the next zone overhead. But as you can see, 70% of the time, what are you going to get? Consolidation. 20% of the time, rejection. 10% of the time, the slice. Okay. Notice the step line is starting to angle right. If it crosses blue and climbing, expect a retracement back to the BBC. All right, that covers all the indices. Let's look at gold. Here's where we opened last night on gold. We dropped to the BBC, found support, got a leg, a retracement, a leg, a retracement, and boom, we hit the zone. And these are the zones that were published yesterday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. So resistance will send us to support, back to resistance, back to support. Bang! We hit the target. Okay? Now, that's a slice right there. That green candle, that's a slice. It's kind of part of the consolidation, but what have we done now? We have run out of steam and retraced back to the zone we sliced through. Now, typically when that happens, we'll continue in the direction of the slice. I don't know that that's going to happen this time. In fact, the trade that's of interest to me at this point is down here. Oh, I want to get below that. See that low right there? That's potential support. So let's tighten it up a little more. Okay. 71 to 70.80. It's $200 per contract traded. And you say, well, what about all this? Well, you got potential support here, 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 and here, and here. I want to get to the area where there's nothing in my way. Okay? Price can just free fall until it hits this zone, which I expect to be support. Now, I could be wrong because this candle still has 6 minutes left in its lifespan. It's a 30-minute candle. We're sitting on top of support times 2, so the next candle could open green and try to put in a new high. That's all part of learning how to read the chart, so that you know instinctively what the next high probability move is, whether it's to the short side or the long side, because this way you can plan your work ahead of time. We drew this window of opportunity on the broadcast yesterday and it filled. Gold, gold, gold. Here's where we opened last night and we dropped right to the weekly trading zone. Support. bounces up to resistance at red and falling, which sends us down to the zone. Now we spiked the zone, but look where we closed, right at the zone. Support sends us to resistance. Resistance sends us to support. Support sends us to resistance. Resistance sends us to support. And then we make the run all the way up to the target. Now, this candle sliced through the zone like it wasn't even there. When it ran out of steam, what did it do? It came back to the zone it sliced through. Actually, it came all the way back to the BBC, and it's ultimately overcome the target, continuing in the direction of the original slice. And this high right here, you see this bearish cross? This was last Friday, okay? Now these zones, these are this week's zones, Monday, Tuesday. So I'm talking market structure. When you have a bearish cross, that's when the red line gets below the green line, and it leads to an extended move. The first time price revisits that area will almost always be good resistance. And it was. Sent us all the way down to the short target, which bounced us all the way back up to the long target. I got one more market, silver, but we'll talk about that after Michael gives us a recap of what happened this morning in the live training room. Then we'll do some live trading on TradingView for 30 minutes. And then I'll be back. I'll be back.
You'll be back.
All right, looks good.
All right, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, the fifth day of November 2024. Now, if you have not taken a free trial, let's go here to mytradingaq.com. Sign up for the free trial right here. All right, there is no credit card required for this trial. When you sign up for the trial, you will be, well, first be sent to this page where all we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. This is how you sign up for the trial. Notice there is no credit card requirement. If you have Ninja, give us your machine ID if you want to use Ninja charts. If you don't have TradingView, you should get the free trial of TradingView and give us your TradingView login ID. Hit the register button, and when you do that, you send all the information you need to get going in the morning. Now, the spreadsheet, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. This whole election thing is throwing me off. I mean, we have more minutes getting the goal for the day this month so far than we had almost, well, we have about half of what it took for all of last month. A little more than half of what it took for all of last month in 3 days. So we'll have to fix that once all this stuff is over, hopefully. Anyway, today we made 16 ticks on the NQ, 91 ticks on the YM, and we got back to 0 on the ES. We were 0 on the Russell too. We started out with minus 10 on the ES. We managed to get our way back to 0 on that. So that puts us at 535 on the morning session. I say 91? That should be 61, not 91, 61. All right, that puts us at 385 on the morning session. So everything that I said this morning, guys, there was a typo in there. That should be 61, not 91. Puts us at 385 on the morning session. I thought that seemed high. Today took 36 minutes and 8 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're at $2,860, and we took a total of 11 trades. So on the month now, we're at $1,107 over 3 trading days, averaging $369 per contract per 2-hour trading day. On the year now, we're at 101,000. So anybody that was in there this morning that saw me put in the totals and all that, you guys apparently didn't notice that this morning. There was a typo. It should have been 61, not 91. So we're at 385 on the morning, 5, whatever it was. Not $150 more than that. So it would have been 6 something actually, or something like that, 5 something. Anyway, on the month now we're $1,107 over 3 business days, averaging $369 per contract per 2-hour trading day. On the year we're at 101,477 over 207 trading days, averaging $490 per contract per 2-hour trading day. Over here, getting the goal for the day. Again, it took us a while today. the number of minutes. That's just unheard of. When was the last time we had a consecutive string that was really long like that? I guess it was a period right here where it took us a little bit. The month before that, did we have anything? The month before that, we had 194 minutes all month. And this month we have we have 164 in 3 days. Oh well, difficult times. Anyway, we did get the goal for the day. And if you were to quit trading when you get the goal for the day, and add one contract per month, so far this year, you would, hang on, scroll up here. Yeah, so far this year, you would have averaged $2,841 per hour. You would have only had to work 61.35 hours. And that's pretty good stuff in there, right? If you can do all that. Now, that is just following what I do. If you were to do what I do in the morning, getting the goal for the day. All right. Now, some days I mess up and it takes me longer. So you guys should probably be doing better than that. Pretty much in everything, because you don't have as many distractions as I do. But let's get into the actual trades. All right, on the YM, we have a trade just about setting up here on the YM right now. Let me put that down, and we'll go over here, and we'd be looking for an up close here on the YM right now. All right, this is down in the oversold. The low on this right now is 370, so we'd be buying 390 on the YM right now. All right, so we'll go back to the beginning. On the YM, we had this trade right here that got us 20 ticks. Then we had this trade right here that got us 36 ticks. That put us at 56. And then this trade right here that got us 5 ticks, put us up to 61. And we have this trade right here that's about to trigger. It's got a low right now of 70, so we'd be buying 90 on the up close right there. And I just filled at 91. So that is what is going on right now with the YM. Now during the break, it looks like there was one trade right here. All right, that need to put in a higher swing. If I did over here, and this is the next trade, the one we're in right now is the very next trade. This should make it up to the prior swing high, which is up there at 417. So right up here, the high of the day is where that should go up to right now. Now the deal with the YM on a 19 range, we moved the stop to break even after 10 ticks in profit. All right, and all that information can be found here. If you go to mytradingiq.com, click on trade rules right here, 19 range. 25 tick stop, trails to break even after 10 ticks in profit with a 45 tick target. Okay, that's where we are right now with this current trade. We need it to get up to right there at about the stop to break even. So when it does, we can simply hit the break even button and it will go to break even. Okay, that's what we're looking for. Let's see. We have. I'm kind of waiting for it to do that so I can just hit, not think about it anymore. There it is. All right, so now I'm going to hit the break even button. Oops, wait, did I go too soon? Did it hit point? Did it hit 1? It didn't. I was looking at 9 for some reason. Let me move that off so it's not going to come back and hit me there. And we'll do it again. Once it's got to get up to 01. There it is. Okay, just hit 01. So now we can do it. All right, we're back at break even. All right, so now we can focus on the other things, the important stuff that I need to focus on. I mean, the trades are important too. But Chris, there was something that I was going to show you this morning that I didn't get to show you because you left. How to get that to be black. If you click on this thing right here, you see it? Click on that, then go to symbol and do projection up bars and projection down bars and make both of those black. Okay, that is how you set that to make that current bar black. Right, it apply to all, and it will apply to all of your charts. Right, and that's it. That's all we have for the YM. Now we're in this trade right here. Still, it stops at break even. Looks like it's going to take me out of break even probably. The Russell this morning. Let's take a look at that. That was another indication for a TV trades buy at 362.5. All right, now this is the one we're using. You can see we used it this morning to do the lesson plan. Drew all over it this morning. The Russell, today we had a break even right there And I believe that was our only trade. That was our only trade on the Russell this morning. It was that one break even. During the break, it looks like there was just one trade right here. That still is not put in a higher swing right there. Okay, did we miss much this morning? We missed one trade right here. That would have been a good trade. We missed one trade right here. That would have been a good trade. We missed one trade. That wasn't actually a valid trade right there. Okay, the YM is having a hard time taking off right here, it looks like. We're going to stick with it, though, and let it do its thing. Up here is where it should go, 417. 417. So that would be 26 ticks if it gets up there for me. All right. Anyway, that was the Russell. We only had one trade on it. The ES, we ended up with break even. All right. So we ended up break even over here on the YM as well. With the ES, we ended up at break even today. Now let's go through the trades on that, because we started out with a stop out on that one. Here it was, right here. We ended up stopping out on that. It looks like I probably should have gotten my stop to break even, but I don't think my entry was exactly right. Then pulled back, stopped me out to the tick, and went and did what it should have done. Then I got a break even on that one, and crunch this up. I had put these in on here because Graham had asked me to show him where these numbers come from in the table. The numbers come from these prior swing highs and lows. Right. The way it works is once the BBC crosses the BB3, it starts to look back for pivots that are above that level, and it lines them up for you. And if it crosses below it, it starts to look back for pivots that are below that level, and it lines them up for you. Okay, just to let you know where they all are. So today we started out with a stop out. We're at -10 right there. Then we had a break even there. Then on that one right there, we got to -8, so we got a +2 on that. And then look, bullfrog. 100 tick move down on the NQ. I'll go explain that in a minute. Then right here, we got 8 more ticks right there. Now at the end of the session this morning, I was explaining this right here and how I saw it come together in the DOM and how it was coming together on the chart. I actually did do a deeper pullback, did 100% retracement. Hang on. I did 100% retracement, and then it did get up to here, to that level that I said it should get up to satisfy the leg length. It did do all that, so that was good stuff. After that, let's see. We had a trade there, a trade there, a trade there, trade there. Now, all 3 of those were good trades. This one here was also a good trade, but it didn't put it in a higher swing. So you wouldn't be looking at this trade right here. You wouldn't be looking at anything until it gets all the way over here. And then the ribbon's kind of jumped up. Looks like, yeah, the ribbon's kind of crunched up in there, so you don't really have a trade in there. That was the S. So the S was tradable today. You had to be patient with it, but it was tradable. Okay, it was tradable. Now the NQ, on the NQ today, well, it was not our big winner today. YM was the big winner today, but we did have a bunch of trades here on the NQ. Well, those were all yesterday, but these are today. Today on the NQ, we didn't have that many, I guess. We had this one here, which was a break even. Then we had this one that was a +4. Then we had this one that was another +4. And then we had another one that was a +8 somewhere. This is on 100 range. Okay, let's put it down to the 31 range. There might be a couple of overlaps in there. Let's go back here like this. All right, so we had this one that was a break even. Then we had a +4, a +8, and another +4. It got us up to 16, and that was where we ended it with the NQ. I think we had one toward the end of the session. That was a +4. I think somewhere in here we had another +4. And that was it. Now during the break, it got really choppy and sideways here during the break. There was a trade right in here. That would have stopped you out. There was a trade right here. You could not have taken because you need to put it in a higher swing, but then it did put it in the higher swing. And you had another one right here that you could have taken, would have made up for that stop out, and nothing since then. So the markets have been pretty junky here during the break. Not a lot happening during the break. This one right here was probably enough to get you stopped to break even, right? 89 up to 01. Just enough to get you stopped to break even on that YM trade. Is that the one we took? I think it is the one we took, isn't it? Yeah, it is the one we took. We had enough to get our stop to break even, and it came back and took us out of break even. All right. That's it. That's what I have. So let's go back here. For anybody that's logging on right now on YouTube, if you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com. Right here, click on the purple button, sign up for your free 5-day training, 9:15 to 11:30. There is no credit card required for the trial. Sign up right there. It's going to bring you to this registration page where all that we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. Okay, your name, your email, and your phone number. And once you give us that information, we can then enable the indicators for you. And you'll have your indicators indicating at the beginning of your trial. That is where you want to be. All right. So looking at the charts right now, we really don't have anything going on. I need to fix this guy right here. So it's got the rest of the ribbon in it. Okay, and we really don't have a higher swing here. We don't have a higher swing here. We don't have a higher swing here, and we're just completely sideways here. So I am willing to look at any markets that anybody wants to look at or discuss anything that anybody wants to discuss right now. We can jump out and look at Bitcoin again and see if it's still doing okay. Okay, I got it on the fat candles.
That was the one I was going to ask about.
Okay.
So we dropped back below 70,000, huh?
Yep, 872 right now. Just a little bit below it. But we'll see if it ends up there.
That's a high of the day.
Today's high is $70,557.67.
Yeah, the markets have been very bullish today, but what my 30-minute charts are telling me is we're about to see a big retracement across the board. So that's just my interpretation.
Yes, on Bitcoin, it looks like it could pull all the way back down to 69,400, 69,350, something like that. That'd be a nice 50% retracement.
Yeah.
Be good structure for the market, really.
Well, it's already oversold.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Right down here is a 50%, 582. It's not that far down.
Right.
We'll see when this candle closes. It's 112. So when this candle closes in 18 minutes and it bumps it over, we'll see how much it brings up the BBC. It'll probably bring it here. And the next candle will start out right in here. So it'll be just about right for 50% retracement with the leg down. When the results start to filter in tonight.
DJT was on a tear earlier today. It was up 14% when I read the article about it.
Didn't it get smashed like 40% the other day?
Yeah, I think on Friday it got hammered.
Let's go out there. That's the 8th one out. I'm about to eat. You're out there where Tesla is. We'll do DJT. Trump Media and Technology Group. All right. So it is up today. It's up pretty good. On the whole day. Let's do it on the daily. I had a little bit of a gap this morning.
Oh yeah, it sure did.
Gapped from, this was the close yesterday at 34.35, and this was the open today at 37.50. So I had a $3 gap, a 10% gap this morning. That's something. Why did it do that? Makes you wonder. Let's shrink this down.
I think half of America hopes he's going to win the election.
Yeah.
I hope slightly more than half.
Yeah, it's just going to be a little more than half. And I hope it's a lot more than half.
Because if it's too close, there's going to be recounts, and this thing could drag out till Christmas.
Yeah.
One year it did, that hanging Chad year. I think it was December before they finally called the election.
Really? Between Gore and Bush? I don't remember that.
Yeah, between Gore and Bush. The hanging Chad, because Anne-Marie and I were in Amsterdam at the time. And when the people in the hotel where we were staying found out we were Americans, we were like pariahs. I mean, because there was we were overlooking the town square. It's so quaint and beautiful. If you ever get a chance to go there, go there.
I've been there twice.
Oh, okay. And so people were in the town square marching and protesting with signs over the American election. I'm thinking in Amsterdam.
Crazy.
I'm like, dude, just go to the coffee shop, chill.
Yeah. And go to
Coffee shops
any one
there.
of the many shops that you can go
Those
to get something
those
to
coffee
chill.
shops, they hand you the menu, and oh my gosh, everything from hashish to
Yeah.
some kind of crazy bud from wherever. I don't know. It's like that
Yeah.
in America now. Oh, that was one of Kamala's last minute promises. I'll make marijuana legal. And Trump had some last minute promise. What was it? I forget. I just read it earlier, but mine's a terrible thing to lose.
Interesting. Interesting stuff. A gap up right there. That's probably going to have to get filled at some point. Now, equities aren't the same as futures. Where you have a gap and it gets filled like same day. Equities aren't like that. It can take weeks, or
Yeah.
it could actually never fill a gap. But usually it can take a long time to fill a gap. Over here, you see these gaps right here. This is kind of a similar gap, and it took it 4 days to fill that gap. And over here, there was a gap. It took it 2 weeks to fill that gap. And when it did, it kept going. Then there was another gap right here. It took a week and a half to fill that gap. So we'll see what happens here. This gap's probably going to get filled at some point. But yeah, I haven't thought about it. This is we're in what was it called? It was a Red Bull, I think, or something like that, or Heineken Bulldog thing, or something like that. It was in Amsterdam, and this one guy was like, he was lighting this marijuana cigarette. That was, it was about, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch round and 4 inches long, and he had this long hair, and the thing lit up on him, and his hair caught on fire.
That's too bad.
And it was funny, but it was, he got it put out pretty quick. See, he was in no condition to be lighting anything. They should take matches away from you when you're that lit. But
And they have the red light district and all red light districts there. I mean,
yes,
I was there with my wife,
yeah,
so there was no danger of me doing anything improper.
That's where we were actually cruising that then, just cruising, of course.
Oh, my wife and we walked up and down it. All the ladies were up in the window. It's
window shopping.
yeah, window but we never made any purchases. So
yeah, no, we didn't make any purchases either.
like in the coffee shops, like if you can. Well, how would you like that served, sir? Did you want us to roll it, or would you like a bong, or would you prefer a pipe? And it's like, whoa, because back then when we went, that was like 2005. All this medical marijuana and recreational marijuana in America, that was still years and years and years away.
Yeah, I was there in like the 80s, late 80s. 89. I went there once when I came back after the war, after Desert Storm. So I was there in 91, I think. And I think I was there in 89 and 91, something like that.
They're very liberal on their drug policies, and they actually have a pretty low crime rate. Same with Denmark and Netherlands, and not promoting that. I'm just saying countries that have tested the theory, they don't all end up like San Francisco.
Well, San Francisco was Kamala's responsibility, wasn't it?
Yep, sure was. Did you notice that she grew up in a middle class family?
Did she? Where they really cared about their front lawns and
Yeah, I heard that. I saw it on TV, so it has to be true.
yeah, oh yeah, it's got to be true. Yeah, because
Oh, they interviewed Elon Musk's mother the other day. She is quite the hoot. wherever it is they're from, she still has the accent. Her accent's still pretty thick. And her name's May, I think, May Musk. And so the interviewer, the reporter said, Miss Musk, what would you like to say? She goes, well, for starters, I grew up in a middle class family. She goes, in Canada.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Middle class family in Canada.
She
Mhm.
got, yeah,
Yeah,
she's a nice
that's
lady. She's somebody I would like to hang out with and have a coffee or tea or something.
in Amsterdam.
I mean, I mean, what a proud mom. Your son's the
Hmm.
richest man in the world, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
And because he's on the spectrum, when he was a child, they probably thought he might end up never amounting to anything. And look at all the stuff
that
he's gone on to do. Wow.
that is possible. The sky's the limit. Actually, the sky isn't even the limit for him.
Well, I saw J.D. Vance speaking last night. He goes, I was raised by my grandmother. We were on welfare because my mom was all doped up on opioids. He goes, and here I am standing in front of you tonight asking you to vote for me as the next vice president of the United States of America. He goes, the American dream is still alive. Don't let those other people lie to you and tell you, it's dead. In fact, Obama, when all those manufacturing jobs got lost, he said, "Well, I'm sorry, but they're never coming back." And then Trump brought them back. Anyway, this
Yeah,
is not a political show. This is about the financials.
it's it is. We haven't had a trade yet though,
I
so
know. I know. You
we
got to
had the
talk
one
about
we had the one
something.
YM trade. We had the one YM trade, but let's go look at the other markets. We looked at Bitcoin and we did DJT, and let's look out what's on the number 6 one. We have that gold one again from
Trap stop.
perhaps stop. I
He
can't,
hasn't been back.
I
Oh,
I don't know why I
and
keep coming up with short in there somehow, but trap stop.
yesterday, hardly anybody asked questions in the YouTube channel, but
Hmm.
yesterday, because I don't monitor that chat, and I tell people at the beginning of the broadcast, I don't monitor the YouTube chat for the first 50 minutes. But when you signed on yesterday and I fired up
Hmm.
my YouTube so that I could see the chat, this guy had been going off for like 50 minutes. What's going on here? Who's he talking to? Is this a recording? I don't believe
Really,
this. I'm going to give this a bad review. I
really.
tracked him down on Instagram and I said, dude, I said it at the beginning of the broadcast. I say it every day at the beginning of the broadcast. And I invite you to come back, join us. We'd love to
He's
show
not
you.
there right now, is he?
No, well, there's people watching, but I don't know. He hasn't said anything.
Okay.
I wasn't trying to aggravate him. I just wanted to let him know that even though he said negative things about us, he's still welcome here. So, trying to take the high
Oh,
road.
yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Well, that's a whole other story. About taking the high road. The high road's actually, in some cases, for me, the high road has worked well.
Yes.
And the high road, in this particular case, I have in mind is working well because I have someone who took the low road and they're trying to make amends. And
Mm,
I told them to write me a letter, put it in the mail. It's the only way I'm going to communicate.
mm.
So I am,
I know who you're talking about. I won't say anything though.
yeah. I said I am not going to communicate um, over the phone or text message or any way. Write a letter if you're sincere. All right, so this is DJT, and now DJT, we're on a daily right here, but if we bump it down to like a 30-minute chart, this is the 30-minute. So on a 30-minute chart, it's actually done a retracement here of this last leg down from the 30-minute chart is what it looks like. And if you get rid of the indicators, if we get rid of that and get rid of that for a second, and you just look at the actual chart pattern, this is a head. This is kind of a shoulder over here. right here. And this is kind of a shoulder that is building over here. Now, it's in a position, it's got to fill this gap, and it's in a position where it could actually go down here. This is a 50% retracement of this leg down that it's got going on right now. Looking at it from just a chart perspective.
Yeah.
This is your 50% right here. And if it does hit that and it has trouble there, then it should go down below this level. It should do another one of these right here.
Hey, wait, are you on a 30-minute?
Yeah, 30-minute DJT.
So that gap didn't happen at the Wall Street Open, did it? Yeah, I guess it did.
Yeah, it's right there at the open. Yep.
Okay.
Yesterday to now. Yeah, but what it should do is this right here is what it should do, and go all the way down here. If it doesn't make it through here, if this head and shoulder pattern does hold, this is what it should do. It should go all the way down here. 1507 is what it's looking like.
For anyone in the audience who's wondering why stocks gap up or down almost every day, individual stocks, it's because, okay, they turn out the lights at 4 p.m. Eastern in the U.S., but at like 8 p.m. Eastern, the Asian markets open, and they're trading the same stocks we trade. And then at 3 a.m. Eastern, European markets open, and they're trading the same stocks that we trade. So when Wall Street reopens, turns the lights back on at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, you're seeing a reflection of what happened in the overnight trading. And there you go.
You can see
overnight
them here.
People in Asia and people in Europe were buying DJT stock. That's why it gapped up.
Here, and here, all these gaps, and they're all like right at the beginning. They're from day to day, every one of them. 1530, 1530, right here, this gap down.
Wow, that last gap down, what day was that?
That was on the 29th of October.
Okay.
So it was last Tuesday. It was a week ago.
Seeing that get filled would be sweet.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that would be if it filled that gap up right now. And that would break the head and shoulder pattern just about.
Have you looked at the options on this?
I have not. I was looking at options on a bunch of things last night, but I didn't look at them on the DJT. Let me bring it up and see. Look at it. Let me just go to some.
Guys, if anyone has any particular stock or Forex pair or ETF that you want us to look at, we'll be happy to, because we just don't have any trades setting up at the moment.
We do not. And let's look in here. New kind of cause products aren't rolled out during the final weeks. Typically aren't, except for Trump.
Yeah, that's the article that I read to the audience earlier.
What did he roll out?
I can't remember. You'd have to click it. I can't remember what it was now.
Well, we'll come back to that. All right, so options on DJT. It's up $5 right now, 15%. And here's at the money options.
That's all so confusing to me.
Well, if we were just looking at calls, let's just look at one, because it's showing all options, and we just look at calls, assuming we're thinking it's going to go up.
Right.
Look at the strike price; it's a week out. The 8th is Friday, so the 15th is a week from Friday.
Okay.
If we're looking at this and we're thinking it's going to fill this gap, we're up here at 50.98. Let's say 51 is where we think it's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what you do is you find a strike price that's up there where you think it's going to go, and that makes it a little cheaper. That it's farther out of the money, makes it a little cheaper. The closer you get to the money, the more expensive it is.
Right.
When you get in the money, then it's got it's got I forgot the word for it, but it's got value right there. No, it doesn't have any time decay. When you're in the money, you don't have any time decay at all.
Right.
But usually the stuff that's closer to the money is the stuff that has the bigger delta, right? And it's the theta, that's the time decay. That's going to affect things that are further out more, because there's less of a chance of getting into that. But stuff right here at the money, it moves a little faster per dollar movement in price, you're going to see this move a little faster. And if you look at, like, if we look at Greeks, I have the Greeks on this. Is that a choice? I think I got to click on it and you'll be able to see. If you click on like this guy right here, 37% is what it's up. And if we look at this, does it say the delta on this? It doesn't say the delta. It doesn't say the delta, but that's basically what you'd be looking for, is what the delta is on that. And that's what it's going to change per dollar value in price. That's how much the price of the actual, the underlying asset. The option will change if the underlying asset changes by $1. The delta is how much the option is going to change in price. So, like in this case right here, it's 1063 is what it's priced at, right? And I don't know what the delta is. If I had the delta, then I have an actual formula in a spreadsheet somewhere around here. I have a formula, and all you have to do is put in the current price, put in the delta, and put in the expected price, and it'll tell you how much the option is going to be worth. And if it does do that kind of a move. Yeah, I have that somewhere out here. I don't have time to go to it. I've already run over, but it's suggesting right now. If we go back here, this is what the options are. If it goes up to 51, the 736 options right here, they should probably go up. Depends how quickly it goes there, but I would guess that they would probably go up. I don't know.
If he is declared the winner tonight or tomorrow, then I would think there'd be a high probability it would go up and fill that gap, and then some.
Yeah, I have another one that I can go to find out what the delta is for that. Does anybody know what the delta is for that off the top of your heads? I don't see anybody.
And the economic policy that he rolled out was blanket tariffs on Mexico. He's setting himself up to have them either finish the wall, pay for the wall, or send soldiers to the border to stop this inflow. So, and I forget who it was that's building that big car plant down there. It was like the biggest car plant in the world. And he says, if you try to ship one car across the border, I'm going to charge you 100% tariff. So I think they've actually stopped construction of that plant to wait and see whether or not he wins the election.
Well, I want to give you the information that I was trying to get on that, and I'm going to have to go to another source to get that. Give me just a minute. I'll have that for you in a minute, I think. Options. Symbol DJT. No, DJT. Trump Media. Custom. I want to see.
People in urban areas already posting directions how to protest if Trump wins. Face coverings are a must. This guide is being shared around local LA folks.
That's crazy.
Cover all visible tattoos. If you don't have a mask, tie a shirt around your head. Teens and minorities take priority in assisting with safety. Do not talk to cops. They're not there to help you. They're there to stop you. Keep phone numbers written on you in case you get arrested, lose your phone, or it dies. Stay hydrated and take breaks. Pick a safe meeting spot and time in case of separation. Be safe. Wow.
It's crazy. All right. Now, I believe once this refreshes, I will have what I was looking for. I don't have it. It still doesn't give it to me. I'm looking for the Greeks, and it's not giving me the Greeks. Try it again. It's just not showing up. what if I click on one of these? We were talking about it.
Latest
TJT.
Wall Street Journal poll says Trump takes lead over Harris. I don't know how they know that.
Here, I got it. I finally got it. Okay, and we're talking about DJT strike price.
Talking about 51 is a strike price.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. I'm going to 51. Here we go. The strike price at 51. The delta is 45 for the 51 DJT.
I can't see it on your screen. It's like your screen. You need to scroll down.
Yeah, it's over here on another. It's over here on my
okay.
other monitor. I'm
Okay.
going through all this stuff.
Okay.
But here it is. Okay. It's saying the delta is right here. The delta is 45.8. That's for the. It's 49.38 for the one next Friday. 49.38. So what that means is 49.38 cents is how much it would go up. So we're looking at the 51s at $7.36 right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the price of the stock is currently $40. So it'd be $11. So let me get out my handy dandy calculator. 0.498 times 11 equals $5.47. It's how much the option would go up in price, is what it's suggesting. This one right here, the $7.36 option right here would go up $5.47 if we were to get up to 51 from its current price. So it'd be 100% gain if you were to go up there today. that's if it does it today. If we were to jump up there today, that's what it suggests. So I mean, it's a possibility. You could have a big run today at some point. I don't think it's going to happen, but it could happen tomorrow. And if it does happen tomorrow, then we'll look at it again tomorrow. We can look at it again tomorrow, probably. But, oh man, I ran over. It's 15:37. And I do have another meeting coming up, and Jeff is not coming back to me.
Show him how to take that trial, and I'll take over.
Yep. Okay. Let me do that. Now I get 2 phone calls, and none of them are from Jeff. And, well, anyway, we'll figure it out. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on this button right here. There's no credit card required for the trial. When you click on that, you're going to be brought to this page where all we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. Just fill this out. Give us your TradingView login ID down here. We really want to get that from you because that is what's going to get you this, which is the thing that triggers you into the trades. All right. So go to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. No credit card required. Fill out the form. Give us your TradingView login ID. All right. And that's it. With that, I can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. If you are ready.
Recap of the morning session.
Today, it took me 36 minutes and 8 trades to get to $2,860.
Great job.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we only had one market that we hadn't covered, and that was silver. And so, as you can see yesterday, silver kept bumping up against the zone, right? When price moves up to a zone, we're expecting resistance. Now, this is Friday back here, so it was different zones back on Friday. But this is today, and then the vertical line. This is today, and the vertical line separates us from yesterday. Okay. So we opened last night, we dropped right to the target, and even through the target. Now the zone's 32, 33/34. The low of this candle was 35.5, so we missed it by a penny and a half. You don't need 2 pennies to get your goal for the day. Red and falling turned to blue and climbing. That got us up to the zone where we consolidated. That's what happens 70% of the time. Then we got a slice. Took us right up to the target. 32.81. Now, as I said earlier, when you have a slice and it runs out of steam, price will typically retrace back to the zone it sliced through. What's the low of that candle? 32.68 half. And the zone's 66, 67. So we missed it by a penny and a half. You win some, you lose some. All right. The pullback held. Remember, whether you're pulling up from below or pulling down from above, the pullback holds more often than not. And at 8 o'clock, silver took off. Boom. Right up to the zone. And we actually took out yesterday's high by just a little bit. And as you know, we're always suspicious of just a little bit. So price got back down to the BBC. We got red and falling overhead. I would say silver's heading back to the zone. If it gets below the zone, then window of opportunity would be like 32.58 to 32.56. That would be enough to get your goal for the day. I'm trying to get 32.58.56 there, but you get the idea. Okay. Now, all the other markets we looked at, step line. Remember, I kept saying if the step line crosses, look for retracement back to the BBC. There it is on the ES. There it is on the Dow. It's crossed. Remember when we looked at it a few minutes or earlier in the broadcast, it hadn't crossed. Russell in the process of crossing. NQ, it's already crossed. So look for it to come back to the BBC. And remember, the pullback holds more often than not. But there's no guarantee it'll hold. Eventually, we know it'll trade through. Okay? I mean, it held 1, 2, 3, 4 times so far in this up move. Will it hold a 5th time? You got to wait and see. Okay? There's no way to predict the future with 100% accuracy. But you can know what the next high probability move is. Remember, I suspected that crude would go lower. Blue and climbing is now turned to red and falling. And I want to get below this low here. Remember from yesterday, that low right there. And then 70.90 to 70.80. Actually 71. What was this low again? 71.02. That's getting a little close. You could go 70.90 to 70.80. That would give you your goal for the day, $100 per contract. But 71 to 70.80, that would be $200 per contract. Gold's just jumbled up, consolidating at the zone. And we just looked at silver. And one last look at the daily. Okay, price spiked, red and falling to touch the daily BBC. But remember, we had a big green candle on this day, but closed near the low. Same thing here, closed near the low. Is that what's going to happen today? Well, we just had a bearish cross. So I think it's possible, but it's election day. And as results start coming in, who knows what will happen. Now, at 6 p.m. Eastern, we'll get a new candle. Okay? These are futures. The Globex market opens at 6 p.m. Eastern. So this candle will stop moving at 5 p.m. Eastern. And then at 6 p.m. Eastern will be the beginning of the Wednesday candle. Which, this bullish cross, I just feel like it's calling price. But I could be wrong. It happened once. In the 80s, I think it was. Hey, if you want to be a member, send an email to support@cfrn.net. In the subject line, type in, I want to become a member. Okay? And hit send. Valerie will send you information and a link. You can click the link, become a member, Then she'll send you more information. Then you too will be a passport holder. And you'll have access to 2 hours of live training every trading day in an interactive environment, private one-on-one mentoring. The strategy you learn, the indicators you own as a passport holder are fluid across all markets and all time frames. Price flow is the same across all markets and all time frames. Support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance. It's a never-ending cycle. You'll also get the Logic 247 alerts around the clock. You get the concierge trade alerts every evening when they're published. Every Monday morning, you'll get the weekly trading zones at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. And you'll be able to attend the members only workshop every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Everything a trader needs, all under one roof, one low price. There's no upsells, no gimmicks, no gotchas. You're either in or you're out. And we give you 5 days to figure out if what we have will work for you or if we're just full of it. You get to decide on our dime. Those 5 days, we call it a free trial, but it costs us in time, resources, energy, etc. But for you, it doesn't cost you a thing. All right, good word for the day. For the last 3 days, we've talked about how to develop patience. I think we're on a roll. Here's part 4. Galatians 5:22. But the Holy Spirit produces this kind of fruit in our lives: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness. You will notice that in listing the fruit of the Spirit, patience comes right after peace. Why? Because when you have peace in your heart, practically nothing can cause you to feel impatient. But these qualities are the fruit of the Spirit, not the effort of the flesh. You can't psych yourself up and say, I'm going to be patient if it kills me. If it is the genuine fruit of the Spirit, you'll have genuine inner peace, and certain circumstances won't bother you the way they used to. Why? Because you're depending on the Lord. Patience is a kind of faith. It says, I trust God. I believe He is bigger than this problem. I believe He has His hand in these irritations and can use them in my life for good. Frustration, on the other hand, says, why'd this happen? Faith says, God, what do you want me to learn here? Abraham was 100 years old when his second son, Isaac, was born. That's a long time to be patient. The toughest kind of waiting occurs when you are in a rush and God is not. It's hard to be patient when you're waiting for an answer to prayer, for God to change your financial condition, your health problem, your family problem, or that relative who really bugs you at Thanksgiving. Being patient is both the evidence of your faith and the test of your faith. It's at such times that God whispers, be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. In other words, I'm in control. I have a better plan. I'm working things out for your good. And remember that now when those election results come in tonight. Whichever way you cast your vote, let's face it, half the nation is going to be angry, disappointed, hopefully not rioting and acting ugly, but half the nation is going to be sad, and half the nation or some part of the nation will be glad. Okay? And so, beyond the results, be sensitive to your coworkers, to your neighbors. Because while you may come into the office tomorrow morning feeling like the big winner, there's other people in your office or small group or whatever who are heartbroken, crestfallen. Be sensitive to that. Okay? All right. Well, I wish we could all be winners, but then we would have two presidents and that would just be confusing. So it's in God's hands. One nation under God. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.